Welcome. It's the Cats. We on Intellectual Radio. We on iHeartRadio, and we are on Facebook Live many a times. We here today with a real special show, some special guests, and guess what? Cat out the bag. They got information for you guys. I'm telling you, don't touch that dial. Don't move. Don't do anything because you want to hold on to every word these gentlemen are about to tell you today. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of introduce these guys here. We got Brian. I'm going to say the first name because his name was so much like mine. So I almost said Brian Norris, but we got Brian Morris.
That is correct.
In the building. And we also have Milton Say your last name.
Delane.
Okay. So I tell you what, you guys, I'm gonna do something. First of all, we got a tradition. So I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Brian.
Sure.
I want you to give me your best meow or your roar, but you're gonna have to let your cat out the bag for me.
Oh wow.
Go ahead.
Okay. Best. I think Aurora would be more appropriate.
Go ahead, let it out.
Roar.
All right. You serious about that one? Go ahead, Milton. Let your cat out. All right. I love it. So again, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and what you're actually doing here with us today.
Sure thing. So again, Brian Morris, and my background, I come from the west side of Chicago originally. I'm a child of Austin. So I'm no stranger to the area. I just moved a little bit west. I call it the west side of the city. But long story short, I lived in and was a part of a lot of different things. I was privileged to experience some things that others in my neighborhood didn't. So for me to actually be able to sit here now and talk about the resources that we're going to share with you all today is a bit of a privilege because they say if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. So at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that people understand their resources to be able to not only access your rights, but actually be able to do something with that information. So in short, that's why we're here today.
That's why we're here today. Milton, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Too, Chicago, grew up around everything and anything that everybody's dealing with today. And we hope that we can, some of the people that's out here who don't know their rights.
So I tell you what, tell us what go ahead, spit it, Brian. You tell me my rights. Tell me what you represent, products and services.
Well, long story short, oftentimes, and I'm sure when we watch the news, we see a lot of different disparities taking place between cultures right now. And oftentimes it's viewed as a simply black and white thing. But unfortunately, working with a lot of folks over the last 5.5 years, I see that justice has more to do with green than black or white. You get about as much justice as you can afford. As we've seen in cases, large cases like OJ, had he not been the person that he was, would he ever have gotten the justice, right or wrong about whether he did it? Would he have been given the representation that he got had he not had the actual green to be able to afford it? So one of the biggest barriers to people understanding their rights, knowing their rights, and having representation is cost. So what we do is we give people access to the justice system without having to worry about the high cost of attorney's fees. And in addition to that, we do some things on the identity theft side, but our primary mission is to provide equality and justice at an affordable rate so that everybody can actually gain access to the system that we were granted with.
Wow, so it's almost like having a legal representation on call.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So give me some examples. I'm pulled over, traffic stop. I'm in pick a neighborhood, Caucasian neighborhood.
Touche.
Okay. I'm black as ace of spades. Matter of fact, sitting here, I got a hoodie on my head. I'm just riding through. Your service or your, kind of dealt with you. What would I do in that situation?
So basically, every company now has an app. So we actually have an app for our service that you carry on your smartphone, so that if you're ever in that situation, you have access to the attorneys right there on your smartphone. We have a red button that's called Emergency Legal Access. So if you were in that situation, for example, you have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. But at 2 o'clock in the morning, on a holiday weekend, on a Saturday, sometimes during the regular day, most of us can't guarantee, number one, that we can get our attorney on the phone if we have one. Number two, make sure they're going to be coherent, competent, and available to help us in that moment. So what this app does is give you 24/7, 365 access to an attorney if you're ever in an emergency legal situation. So that's the simplicity of it. But tons of stories that I could potentially share with you about how some of our members have used that part of the program.
Okay, yeah. So let me just make sure I got this, because sometimes I'm a little slow. I mean, it's 2 a.m. Most of us already have our cell phones. I may even be Facebook Live. I already got our cell phones out. Mm-hmm. So you mean to tell me I could just click on that button and I'm gonna have an attorney that's just gonna pop up, and I can sit there and remain silent, and my attorney is on the line?
Yes, sir.
In a nutshell, they will begin to start the process to walk you through that situation. Absolutely. In a couple of minutes, they'll be on the phone helping you navigate that. Absolutely.
Well, now that's powerful, because I'm gonna tell you something. I believe that if you have an attorney beginning, it kind of changed the energy of the officers, and things kind of go a little differently.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit more about what you guys offer.
All right. So obviously we don't want to just deal in emergencies, because you touched on something really important. Attorneys are actually much more valuable when they're used proactively, because they help us make better decisions on the front end, so that we don't get ourselves in these situations where we now need them and have to pay a gargantuan amount out of pocket. So the biggest thing we do, quite frankly, is providing unlimited access to advice and consultation on any number of personal legal situations that you might have. And it's all included in the actual benefit. You'll never get a bill beyond what you pay as a monthly membership fee for the program. So you can literally pick up the phone anytime between 8:30 and 5 and get an attorney on the phone who has a specialty in that area you need help in within that same day. And it's not just here locally, it's a nationwide program. We even cover 4 provinces in Canada. So it's a very large scope of service.
Okay, so how much is this, a mortgage bill a month? Come on now.
Actually, if it were a mortgage bill a month, it would probably be worth it, because there's some folks who pay that. But the reality is our program starts for individuals at $17.95 a month. For families, $19.95 a month.
And I got the whole benefit. I got all the benefits. You got to go. Let me just make sure.
Absolutely.
So for 17, I won't say my family, because I need everybody covered, especially little Ray Ray bad. But you can cover Ray Ray, and Pookie.
We'll cover
so I'm gonna cover Ray Ray and Pookie.
You got it, all of them.
Okay.
As long as they're under 26 years old and fully dependent, absolutely.
Okay, because over 26 they can get it for their own family.
That's right.
Correct.
How many people? How many? What's the max on the family?
So there's no limit as long as they qualify based on age.
I need
the cat is out the bag.
Cat's out the bag. Y'all can get it from them for $19. I'm selling it for $159.99. So who you want to get it from? Okay, wow. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our?
Honestly, if nothing else, our biggest objective is just to educate and empower. While obviously this is something that we do for a for-profit business purpose, the real value in it is just letting people know that something like this exists. And oftentimes we get, well, it sounds too good to be true. How could you possibly get attorneys at that low rate when they charge $200-300 an hour? So I just want to address that so that people understand the actual value behind the system that makes this possible. So essentially, it works just like medical insurance. You pay a small copay, you get thousands of dollars worth of work done, because millions of people pay into that actual group. The exact same thing for attorneys. We have millions of members across the country paying that small fee on a monthly basis. So our law firms are actually getting paid in advance, the first of the month, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So their focus is now not on necessarily billing you, but serving you appropriately for those basic legal needs that you might have.
It's just like insurance. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I love it. Tell our listeners and viewers, how could they get in contact with you guys if they're interested in?
Absolutely. A number of ways. I'll just give you a number and an email address for now. We can be reached at area code 312-437-8801. And you can actually ask directly for Mr. Milton Delane Jr. or myself, Brian Morris. And we can also be reached by email at legal, L-E-G-A-L, lane, L-A-N-E, 411 at gmail.com. So legal lane 411 at gmail.com.
There you guys got it. The 411. I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'm saying this passionately. We have going on across the globe today. I think that it should be anyone that cannot get in touch with these young men right here and get that valid information. We're talking about $19 a month to cover your family.
Absolutely.
That's less than a burger a day. And some of y'all need to stay away from them burgers anyway, including myself. So I'm gonna eliminate my burger, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this service.
You got it.
Like to close and say what to our viewers.
I think we would just encourage people to take advantage of the information. The information is free, hence the 411, right? The information is free. And it may not be for you, but you don't want to block somebody else's blessing by not allowing them to have access to this information. So if it's not for you, put on your listening ears for somebody else who might be in a situation who could benefit from it. Maybe you're good. Maybe you have an attorney, a group of attorneys that you already work with, but not everybody has that privilege. So we want to make sure that everybody knows so that nobody has to suffer unknowingly. Make sense? It
makes absolutely sense. Give your contact information again.
Sure thing. That's going to be Milton Delane Jr. or Brian Morris at area code 312-437-8801. Or you can reach us by email at legallane411@gmail.com. That's legallane411@gmail.com.
There you guys have it. It's official. We just did it. We let the cat out the bag, gave you guys some valuable information. If it's not for you, take Brian's word. Pass it on. Each one, reach one. Each one, teach one. It's official. We just did it. Another episode. And we just let the cat out the bag. I heard y'all. Peace out, y'all. I've been